As we explore the incredible range of health resources across the Garden State, it's become clear that even our full length monthly episodes of Healthy in the Garden State can't capture it all. That's where this Dose of Health mini series comes in. Every 2 weeks, we'll introduce you to inspiring individuals working to improve the physical, mental, and emotional well being of New Jersey residents. In each brief conversation, they'll share practical tips, personal insights, and how you can connect with them to learn more. I'm your host, Kate Chericello Tente, and I'm thrilled to bring you these individuals creating positive change in our communities. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube at Healthy in the Garden State to catch every new release, and visit healthyinthegardenstate.com for even more health-forward resources. Michelle Lehman is a licensed marriage and family therapist with over 20 years of experience helping individuals, couples, and families create healthier, more fulfilling lives. She is the founder and owner of My Therapy Connection, a multi-site counseling practice, and the creator of the Master Your Life Mastermind group, a program empowering people to overcome obstacles and live with clarity and purpose. So, Michelle, thank you so much for speaking with me today. And, I know that you've been a therapist for over 20 years. So what inspired you to enter this field, and what keeps you passionate about it still today?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. So, what inspired me to become a therapist is through my own journey with therapy. So, through my own life circumstances, I entered into therapy when I was about 20 years old, and have been in therapy ever since, and I will be forever. I think it's a great tool to help live a stress free life. That being said, I picked the license type that I have, which is marriage and family therapist, specific because I really wanted to figure out what made families work healthy. How do you have a healthy marriage? How do you have a healthy family?
Very good. And I'm sure so needed too. And for someone who thinks maybe this is something that they want to schedule an appointment about, they've never been to therapy, what would you want them to know about with regards to what the experience there is like?
Yeah, so I do want to acknowledge that taking that first step for a lot of people can be very difficult. There is a lot of anxiety a lot of the times around that. So when folks call into our office or, send us an email, my staff is trained to, kind of be the leader in that call, right? So we will ask the questions. They don't need to kind of know what they're doing. It's our job to figure out what's going on so that we can place them with a therapist who's the best fit for them. And that's something that we do a little bit differently at our practice. We match clients based on best fit, training, education, experience, personality. It's not whichever therapist is next in line. So here we just really try to do things based on what's in the best interests of the client or best fit.
Nice. And now, over 20 years, I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes regarding therapy. And also, I'm just thinking back 20 years ago, I feel like there weren't many people talking about therapy the way they are today. Is that the case? Are you seeing a lot more conversations about the positive nature, and less of that stigma of, oh, you only go to therapy if there's a problem, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's actually very refreshing. When I was a kid, I didn't know anyone that went to therapy. There was not help available for my family. I didn't have access to a therapist. I had never really heard of it. And what's funny is now we have a lot of teens in our practice. And oftentimes, we have parents calling our office and saying, my daughter's friend so and so sees a therapist there and she wants to see the same therapist. Or, so kids are now talking about it at the lunch table, who their therapist is. And it's really refreshing to see that.
Yes. And what are some of the common challenges you see to getting people maybe in the door? Is it insurance? Is it not lack of knowledge? Is it something else?
I think for my practice specifically is getting the word out that we are here, and being able to have the capacity to see everyone. Insurance is a huge barrier for a lot of people, so that can be a challenge as well.
Gotcha. Is there somewhere you point people to in terms of navigating all of that? Is it, and do they ask you? Is that an ask your insurance? Like, what do you say if they're like, I don't even know where to start?
Yeah, so we try to answer those questions with the client on the phone. Oftentimes, we'll call the insurance company with the client on the phone, kind of help them guide. There's a page on my website that explains insurance benefits, out of network benefits. So I see that as our role. So when people are calling our office, oftentimes they're under duress or they're under stress. And so they might not be able to think clearly. And so our job is to kind of do that work for them and help them figure that all out. So they just have to show up to their sessions.
That's a huge, like, weight off the back, so to speak,
Mhm.
there. That's great. And now, okay, so now I want to talk to you about within therapy, what is one small step that you tend to be telling people over and over again that can help them feel just more in control of a situation and a little more at peace?
Yeah, so I think outside of going to therapy, right, there's as simple as breathing, right? Breathing in and out is a very powerful tool to regulate your nervous system. Also, having time by yourself. I do it in the morning. So I have, about an hour to an hour and a half in the morning. I spend journaling, reading something positive, doing my self care work in the morning. So I think it wasn't one thing, it was two things, but
That's
having those tools in place is can make a world of difference.
right. Two things are even better for sure.
Mhm.
And we're actually, our season finale, we're going to be focusing a lot on breathing in that episode. And I'm really excited to film that because that is such a huge, huge detail. I don't know if that's the right word, but just aspect of life that we can control and we can make,
Yes.
improve every day that really does a lot for our stress.
Yeah, and exercise as well.
Yes.
Exercise does regulate your nervous system. So it does kind
Yes.
of get rid of a lot of that anxious energy, a lot of those high energy emotions, whether it's anger, anxiety, just getting out for a walk, breathing, 5, 10 minutes can really, help to calm the nervous system.
100%. Someone just the other day who said something about like, I didn't even realize all these years of being so anxious, all I needed to do was start exercising. Because she said it was that much of a game changer for her, was just starting to move the body more. And her stress went down so much with that one thing. It is
Yeah,
huge. It is
I
huge.
could talk for hours about that.
I feel yeah, me too. I love that. But back to specifically what you do with family and marriage.
Mhm.
What's one common misconception people have about couples therapy? I say one, it can be as many as you feel you want to share.
Well, there is a lot. I mean, I don't think we have time to go into all of them, but what I would say is there's, what we hear when people call in is some folks might be worried that the therapist might take sides or, pick a side, or if it's a female therapist, they'll side with the female and vice versa. So one thing that's helpful to know is if a couple comes in for therapy, we don't see it as two people in the room being clients. The client is actually the relationship and the space between the couple. So we're treating the relationship. So that's one thing. Another thing that it's only for couples who, had who have something terrible going on, such as, maybe an affair that they can't recover from. We do treat that, but it can really just be for couples. We have lots of couples who are functioning pretty well and they want to learn to do things better. They want to learn new, communication strategies, or they want to deepen their connection, or, be on the same page with finances, with parenting, any number of things. And so you can do very short term brief therapy, or we have clients that have been here for several years.
That's great. And you recently launched the Master Your Life Mastermind group. What does that look like? Share that with us.
That's been super fun. So that is something I did a little bit selfishly. So I'm a big goal setter, and so every January I set all these goals, and I was kind of alone in my walk. And okay, I set these goals. I don't have anybody to talk to about them, and so I have a system that I follow, which is I life down into 10 life domains. Um, Physical health, intellectual, mental health, all these different categories. And I have goal setting for each of those areas. So what I decided to do was to implement, my skills that I have as a therapist and focus on each life domain and create a group where we create connection, we get clear on our goals, and then there's accountability, right? So I'm holding members accountable to, putting their feet to the fire. What are you doing? What have you done the last 2 weeks to get closer to your goals? And it's really been cool. We're recording this now in September, and so my first group started in January, and the progress has been amazing. And I see myself as a cheerleader, and I'm pointing out, all the successes that they're having, and it's been pretty cool to watch.
That's awesome. I'm on the same page with you. I love that. That's my fitness background too, right? Of that engaging with the group and seeing the progress. And you're doing that same thing from this angle of life and wellness. I love that. Thank you for what you do, Michelle. And please, how can people be in touch with you if they'd like to continue the conversation?
You're very welcome. So they can reach out to us, going to our website, which is mytherapyconnection.com. There's a form. They can fill out the online form. They can sign up for my weekly newsletter. We are on social, My Therapy Connection New Jersey on Facebook, and on Instagram as My Therapy Connection.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Michelle.
You are very welcome. It was a pleasure.